Mortal Kombat 13 was softly confirmed, which has everyone excited. Warner Brothers promised to focus on big franchises, and the lead animator for Mortal Kombat said we're cooking. In fact, it's very likely gonna get announced this year, which is why today I'm listing which characters will be playable in Mortal Kombat 13, many of which are confirmed for story reasons, while others are just very likely based on fan appeal. Then we have less likely characters and tragically characters who have zero chance of returning, even if fans do love them and the character's also amazing, but whatever. Yeah, you get the idea. Today I'm listing the full roster for Mortal Kombat 13, but let me know which characters you want in the comments down below, then leave a like in their honor. If today's video gets 2,000 likes, then I'll redesign 3 characters of your choosing, because that's my thumbnail for anyone not aware. I redesigned 3 Mortal Kombat characters, then used an app to make them 3D. So yeah, if we get 2,000 likes, I'll do that again for 3 of your favorite characters. But alright everyone, another day means more Mortal Kombat news. I'm covering it all the time on this channel, so if you want to stay up to date, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss any future videos. And without any further ado, let's begin. As you can see everyone, we've got a lot of rows here on screen. Confirmed is all the guaranteed characters, very likely characters below that, likely, then 50-50, which means an even chance of being in the game or not. Then we have less likely, very unlikely, and no way. These characters are not coming back no matter what, unfortunately. So for today's video, I'm going to reveal 2 rows at a time. First up is confirmed characters and very likely characters. Scorpion is confirmed, that's a given. There's never going to be a Mortal Kombat game without Scorpion. Now, whether or not he's Hanzo is still up in the air. There's some fan speculation that Hanzo will get Scorpion's powers. Then the current Scorpion, Kuai Liang, will get Ice powers because Liu Kang's gonna do something with his God powers or Titan abilities, you get the idea. Which ironically does sound possible. I could see NetherRealm doing something that ridiculous just to right the wrong of Hanzo not being Scorpion. Anyways, next up we have Jax and Sonya, who are also guaranteed because they were cameos in MK1, which upset everybody. Like pretty much every fan was angry about this. Then we have Jade, who was planned for Kombat Pack 3, but Mortal Kombat 1 was cut short, so now she's going to be in Mortal Kombat 13 instead. As for Kitana and Mileena, they're always guaranteed, we know for a fact, because Kitana is just a fan favorite, and so is Mileena. You leave her out, everyone gets mad. Mortal Kombat 13 likely still takes place in Liu Kang's era, so he's guaranteed too, along with Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, and Raiden. The new era Raiden, though. But alright, next up is the very likely tier. Frost is almost guaranteed, like mentioned in a previous video. She was getting set up in Mortal Kombat 1, and since Sub-Zero became Noob Saibot and Kuai Liang is Scorpion, we don't have a Cryomancer for Mortal Kombat 13, so it's very likely that Frost could play that role in the next game. Then we have Serena, who was teased in Mortal Kombat 1, and Ashura freed her in the arcade ending, which is canon in the new games. All of which is why Serena is very likely. Then we have Kentaro, who, believe it or not, has never been playable in any of the NetherRealm Mortal Kombat games, which is just crazy to think about because keep in mind that there's been 4. We've had 4 games already without Kentaro, so he's very likely in Mortal Kombat 13. Along with Shujinko, this man was teased in Kung Lao's ending, and like mentioned earlier, the arcade endings are canon. Next up is Cabal. This guy's just awesome and a fan favorite. He's gotta be in Mortal Kombat 13, very likely. Same goes for Aaron Black and Kotal Khan for the same reasons. However, Kotal Khan was straight up name dropped in MK1 story mode, so we know he exists in universe. Then finally, we have Shao Kahn. Notice I did not say General Shao. I don't think that's going to be his name in the next game. Instead, we're going to get full-on Shao Kahn. For 2 big reasons. Number 1, that's the natural progression of things, right? General Shao left Edenia, so chances are he's going to start his own cult of people and become Khan of that new army. Then reason number 2, fans hated General Shao and just want regular Shao Kahn back, so that's likely to happen in the next game. But okay, next up we have likely. So nearly every character in this row has a story that's unfinished for the most part, or they're just necessary in the new era, right? The story makes kind of no sense without them. So for example, Ashura, her story's not done yet, and she's the perfect partner for Serena in story mode, so I bet she could be in the next game. Along with Reptile, Noob Saibot, and Shang Tsung for the same reasons, Garrus too. All of these characters have not finished their story yet, so I think it's likely they'll be playable in Mortal Kombat 13 to wrap that whole thing up. Then we have Kano, who honestly could be in very likely as well. He's just not a very popular villain, but also a decent chunk of fans were mad that he was a cameo and not fully playable, so he's likely likely to be in Mortal Kombat 13. Then the rest of this row are characters that fans want really bad, like Goro, Fujin, Shinnok, Shiva, and Meat. I'm still salty Meat wasn't in Mortal Kombat 1. Ed Boon said he would be, okay? Okay, next up is 50-50, Sub-Zero at the front of this row, which sounds crazy, I know, but like mentioned earlier, Kuai Liang is Scorpion in the new era, then Bihan, the original Sub-Zero, became Noob Saibot, so we're literally without a Sub-Zero in the next game. Unless NetherRealm does some weird magic nonsense to right that wrong, we might not have a Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat 13, which is crazy to think about. Next up is Tanya, who was weirdly redesigned in Mortal Kombat 1, and many fans did not like this. Plus, we have Jade in Mortal Kombat 13, whose weapons and role in the story are pretty similar to Tanya's in MK1, along with Rain, because he's mostly a jobber anyway, he might be out. Same with Quan Chi. Typically, Quan Chi and Shang Tsung are not on the same roster. Baraka's story was pretty wrapped up in MK1. Striker is just not super popular. Fans want to pretend he is. My god, that plane is loud. Cassie Cage is up in the air because on the one hand she's popular but also not necessary for Mortal Kombat 13's story. Scarlet, I think I might move her up to very likely. I think Scarlet has a good chance of being in Mortal Kombat 13 because fans like her, and Natara's definitely not going to be in the next game, so we need a blood user of some kind. Onaga. So here's the thing with Onaga. He's an amazing character. Pretty much everybody wants him back. And actually, I'll put Onaga in very likely too, because we see him in Reiko's ending and General Shao's ending as well, I think. Which, like mentioned earlier, the arcade endings are canon in the new timeline. So yeah, Onaga's gotta return, right? Then last but not least, we have Devora. I like this character. I hate that she kills all the main characters. That's bad writing. But that aside, I think Devora is a well-designed and creative character. So I want her to come back, but it's 50-50. Okay. Next up is the less likely characters. Trimmer, I mean, he's awesome, but just not super popular. Ermac played his role in MK1. He could be in MK13, but I'm not sure. In fact, I'll put him in 50-50. Ermac's 50-50. I'm making some changes as I go here. Sector and Cyrax were changed into women, and most fans didn't like that. So they're likely not going to return in MK13, or if they do, they're not going to be the same Sector and Cyrax, if that makes sense. Because once again, fans didn't like it. Draman is a 3D era character, so he could return, but he's just not very popular. Sindel died in Mortal Kombat 1, and I don't see the writers bringing her back right away. Bo Rai Cho is just kind of a meme, and Madame Bo is Bo Rai Cho, so actually he's got a no way, yeah. I'm moving Bo Rai Cho to no way, that makes more sense. Kenji is an amazing character, but typically he's not in back-to-back games, it almost never happens. Taven and Dagon, fans want these characters to return, but the writers don't seem to like them at NetherRealm. Then lastly we have Houtaro, so I think that Havik is very unlikely to be in Mortal Kombat 13, and without Havik, we can't really have Houtaro. It's like peanut butter without jelly, which means we're at the very unlikely tier. So Takeda was already in Mortal Kombat 13 as DLC, and many players and fans did not like his retcon, me included. Instead of being Kenchi's son and raised by Scorpion, he was just Kenchi's cousin without the Hellfire abilities or mind powers, any of that stuff, which was really dumb. So as a result, he's unlikely to be in Mortal Kombat 13. Jarek is just not very popular, and if we get any Black Dragon leader, it's gonna be Kano. Then we have Darius. He was a cameo and just not very interesting story-wise or gameplay-wise. He's just not very original, so he can sit out, along with Kira and Cobra. I would like both of these characters to be in the next game. However, I just don't think it's very likely because they're unpopular and we're also technically DLC with Ghostface. Then we have Kai, who actually I'm gonna move to 50-50. That just makes more sense to me. Su Hao would be cool for Mortal Kombat 13. I just don't think it's likely because the Red Dragons, are they gonna make a comeback? I'm not sure. We barely even had Black Dragons in Mortal Kombat 1, let alone Red Dragons. Then we have Jackie Briggs, who the writers actually erased from history in Mortal Kombat 11. That's how much they dislike her, so her odds of being in MK13 are very low, along with Smoke, unfortunately, just because he's usually not in back-to-back games, very similar to Kenshi or even Reptile. Then we have Reiko, who had his moment in MK1. Okay, Reiko fans, you gotta take the wins you can get. He's never in back-to-back games. In fact, it might be 2 or 3 games before you get Reiko playable again, so just enjoy him in Mortal Kombat 1. He's top tier right now and very fun to play. Dairu is just unpopular. I don't see him coming back. Male Chameleon would be cool. I'll put him in less likely. Actually, I don't think he's very unlikely, just less likely. Then we have Moloch, one of my favorite sub-boss characters or boss character, depending on how you want to define it technically, but he's very unlikely. The writers don't like him. They kill him off screen all the time. And alright, last but not least, we have the no way tier. So the title is quite literal here. These characters are not going to return to Mortal Kombat 13. There is just no way. For example, Chronica. Garrus straight up states states that when a Titan dies, they're gone forever, so she's not going to return in Mortal Kombat 13. There's just no way. Then we have Natara, who was ruined by Megan Fox for two reasons. One, fans hated that, but also NetherRealm's not going to hire Megan Fox for 2 games back to back, which means they're not going to use Natara because she'd look completely different in Mortal Kombat 13, and that would be weird. Then we have Havik, who fell on his face twice, right? The default Havik in MK1 fans didn't like because he's not from Chaos Realm, he's technically Dairo, which is super stupid. Then in Chaos Realms, we got the actual Havik, but he wasn't actually into Chaos. He was kind of a fraud, right? So fans hated that too. Gameplay-wise, he was amazing, but that's about it. So in other words, fans rejected Havik twice, so I doubt that NetherRealm's gonna bring him back in MK13. Then we have Ferritor and Collector, who I personally love, but NetherRealm's not gonna bring him back. Let's just live in reality. We were already super lucky to get Farah in MK1 as it is. We're never gonna get Ferritor back. Then we have Kung Jin, who, you know what? I'll just put Kung Jin in less likely because he was planned for Combat Pack 3 before Mortal Kombat 1 got canceled, so maybe he could come back. Maybe he could. Blaze. So chances are Onaga could be a big villain in Mortal Kombat 13, which means we're not gonna get Blaze. We'd never get both in the same game. It's just not gonna happen. Unless NetherRealm goes for the humanoid Blaze from Deadly Alliance. If they do that, then maybe, but it's unlikely. Li Mei. Okay, so this character's awesome gameplay wise. I don't even mind her personality actually in MK1. The problem is she looks really dumb. Like, she looks so boring. Movado is canonically dead actually in Takeda's ending, so if that latter ending really is canon, like the writer himself confirmed, then yeah, Movado's dead, so not in Mortal Kombat 13. Cetrion is no longer canon in the new timeline, I don't think. Then we have Mocap, who's a joke character. Actually, I'll put him in very unlikely. He's not no way. Motaro, though, is no way. They're not gonna put a horseman in back-to-back games. Without the cameo system, we're never gonna get Motaro. For anyone watching who's wondering why I say that, it's because NetherRealm themselves said they can't motion capture Motaro, and motion capture is how they do most of their character animations, so it's not happening. Then Bo' Rai Cho, who I moved down here, along with Lady Chameleon. I doubt we're getting Lady Chameleon in back-to-back games. There's just no way. And alright everyone, there you have it. The Mortal Kombat 13 roster explained. One last time, let me know which characters you want the most in the comments down below, then leave a like in their honor. Finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Alright everyone, make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.